so Capcom took a break from Street Fighter 3 and focused on releasing new entries in the Street Fighter Alpha series and Street Fighter EX series. On May 12, 1999, Capcom released the Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Fight for the Future, the third and final installment of the Street Fighter 3 series. Hideki Okugawa returned to compose the game's music and partnered with Lockdown Entertainment, a Canadian hip-hop artist, Infinite, to compose part of the soundtrack. Along with the new design, there were new stages, new endings, and even new voice actors for the characters. The storyline for Third Strike continued where the prior two games left off. With Capcom having learned a lot over the years, Third Strike felt a bit like a resolution. The game took all the new and best elements of Street Fighter 3 and significantly polished them into a well-balanced fighting system. Along with an updated version of the previous bonus round, another one was included that paid homage to the classic bonus round in Street Fighter 2. 4 more characters were added to Street Fighter 3, which increased the game's roster to 20. Chun-Li makes a return to the series while searching for a young orphan under her care that was kidnapped. Originally planned to be Ryu's sister, Makoto is a young Japanese girl specialized in karate who seeks to restore her family's dojo. Q is a mysterious figure who wears a mask and overcoat. He appears in the game as a selectable character as well as a secret opponent. Q is also modeled after the character Robot Detective K from a popular Japanese show in the 70s. Remy is a long-haired fighter from France who bears a grudge against all fighters following the disappearance of his father and death of his sister. 12 is one of the successful soldiers created from the Illuminati's G Project who can shape his body into weapons. His first orders are to hunt down and kill his prototype Necro. Despite Capcom's efforts to make the series complete by the third installment, Street Fighter 3 failed to make an impact with fans and in the arcades. The industry had moved on with the rise of polygonal fighters and Street Fighter 3 was left behind. By the end of 1999 in Japan, Capcom released Street Fighter 3 Double Impact on the Dreamcast, which was a compilation of New Generation and Second Impact. Third Strike was released as a standalone game on the Dreamcast the following year. Street Fighter 3 has long been cherished by fans. It remains one of the best looking and most balanced fighting game of all time. Thanks to Hideki Okugawa, it has also become known for having one of the best video game soundtracks. However, it also remains very controversial and continues to be debated between longtime fans as well. On one side of the argument, fans believe that Street Fighter 3 was a proper evolution of Street Fighter 2. It introduced a fighting system that remained superior to Super Turbo with its complexities and innovations such as the parrying system. On the other side of the argument, longtime fans felt that the new parrying system was too difficult for newcomers to easily comprehend and only intended for hardcore players. This made Street Fighter 3 lack the casual appeal found in Street Fighter 2. They also felt that the new characters lacked the universal appeal found in other Street Fighter games. To them, these characters came off as mere imitations of the ones found in Street Fighter 2. Those who hated Street Fighter 3 considered the Alpha series a more worthy follow-up to Street Fighter 2, despite it being a prequel. Whatever the case, Street Fighter 3 was ultimately seen as a failure to Capcom, never being able to live up to its predecessor. This failure could be pointed back to many things occurring at the time for fighting games in general. It could have been due to the previously mentioned conflict between longtime fans. It could have been due to the lack of input from the original Street Fighter 2 team who made the series such a success, or it could have been due to the dying arcade industry in the US by the late 90s. For a while, Street Fighter 3 began to become forgotten among fans. Despite other entries in the franchise that received numerous ports to other consoles, Street Fighter 3 only had 2 console ports on the Dreamcast during its initial release. It wouldn't be until 2004 when Capcom marked the 15th anniversary of Street Fighter that the series would become re-released. It was first released on the PlayStation 2 in Japan as a standalone game with all the updates from the Dreamcast version along with a limited edition package. When it was released outside of Japan, it was part of the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection along with Hyper Street Fighter 2. This compilation also came to the Xbox and featured an online versus mode. In that same year, at the Evolution Fighting Tournament in Las Vegas, there was a famous match between Daigo Umehara and Justin Wong that became a famous internet video.
Overcome Rao, now on the verge of putting Daigo down 1-0. Unbelievable. Daigo with a
After Street Fighter II arrived in arcades, fans saw numerous updates to the game and numerous spin-offs spawning their own series. So when it came to an actual sequel with Street Fighter III, it's likely that many fans expected a whole new experience from the fighting series. However, with so many expectations following Street Fighter II's incredible success, it's possible that no other game could have surpassed it. After numerous attempts at revitalizing Street Fighter, the entire franchise was put on an indefinite hiatus while Capcom invested its focus elsewhere. Despite its lack of success in its early years, Street Fighter III has since developed a large fan base and has now reached that level of popularity Capcom once sought for the series. And today, it continues to stand with the best in the genre. Next time, in Part 6 of the Street Fighter Retrospective, Capcom takes the Street Fighter series in another new direction with a battle against legendary superheroes. This would lead to the birth of a new fighting game franchise where Capcom's best would take on a legendary comic book company, a Japanese animation company, and a longtime rivalry that's been years in the making.